Welcome to This Explainer, the day animals speak, decoding non-human language. Just imagine waking up tomorrow morning, and as you're pouring your coffee, you hear your pet clearly articulate its thoughts. Or imagine turning on the news only to hear that wild animals are finally explaining exactly how they perceive the world around us. Today, we're taking a truly mind-bending journey into a reality that honestly isn't confined to science fiction anymore. We are exploring the very real, impending future of non-human language and how decoding it is absolutely going to shatter our understanding of life on Earth.
So what if tomorrow every single animal on Earth suddenly gained the ability to communicate with humans? At first, this breakthrough would seem purely magical. It would allow humanity to finally understand creatures we have lived alongside for thousands of years. Scientists could learn incredible secrets about animal intelligence, migration, emotions, and behaviors that have literally remained hidden throughout all of history. Farmers, conservationists, and researchers would gain knowledge that could completely transform the way we care for life on Earth. But what if animals began sharing uncomfortable truths about how humans treat them and the planet? Before we dive deeper into that, if you're enjoying these mind-bending future scenarios, make sure to like this explainer, share it with a friend, and subscribe to Last Human Era for more incredible journeys into the future. Because as communication improves, entire industries could be forced to change. Zoos, farming, hunting, and even pet ownership might be questioned in ways we've never imagined before.
Section 1. The Breakthrough.
The whole foundation of this breakthrough comes from a scientific field called bioacoustics. Basically, that's the study of the production, transmission, and reception of animal sounds. Now, for decades, scientists have been out there placing microphones deep in the oceans and high in the rainforests. But recently, organizations like the Earth Species Project and Project SETI have taken this massive pile of natural audio and combined it with advanced artificial intelligence. It's essentially a planetary listening exercise. We're taking sounds that we used to think were just random animal noise, and we're processing them through deep learning algorithms to find the hidden, complex structures of actual language.
Uza Raskin, who co-founded the Earth Species Project, has this perfect analogy for what's happening. He says, AI is a telescope for the human mind. Think about that for a second. When humanity first invented the optical telescope, we looked up and suddenly discovered that the Earth was, in fact, not the center of the universe. It was a massive blow to the human ego. Well, similarly, AI is acting as a new kind of telescope, allowing us to look out into nature and discover that humans are not the center of the communication universe either. We are actively being displaced as the only species with complex language.
And the timeline for all of this is just staggering. Right now, today, AI can already solve what's called the cocktail party problem in the ocean. That means it can isolate a single beluga whale's voice from an incredibly noisy pod. In the next 12 to 24 months, these AI models are expected to start generating entirely novel, highly realistic animal calls. And within just 36 months, scientists are predicting the creation of a synthetic animal. That's an AI capable of having a full, undetected conversation with a wild whale or a crow. The startling reality here is that we are likely going to be able to hold conversations with these creatures before we even fully understand what it is we're saying to them.
Section 2. Secrets of the Wild.
As we develop these AI tools, the greatest surprise is coming as we realize that intelligence exists in forms we never truly understood. When you look at specific behaviors, the overlaps between human and animal lives are just wild. We now know, for example, that African elephants actually use complex, individual names to address one another. It's not just a generic grunt, it's a specific identifier. Over in the primate world, lemurs will intentionally bite centipedes just to use their toxic secretions to get high and alter their state of consciousness. We see pilot whales exhibiting profound grief, carrying their deceased young up to the ocean surface for weeks. And crows, as you might already know, are highly proficient at creating and using tools. These are not mindless, instinctual actions. These are undeniable signs of rich interior lives and deep self-awareness. And this massive communication network extends even further than we thought. Researchers have actually discovered that primrose flowers can hear the sound of approaching bees, and within seconds, they sweeten their nectar to attract them. No brain required. We've recorded beluga whales having complex, multi-layered conversations, much like humans chatting away at a crowded party. And we are already tapping into this communication web ourselves. The Maasai people have known for a long time that elephants are terrified of honeybees. So today, conservationists use honeybee fences, literally deploying the sound and presence of bees to peacefully deter elephants from destroying farmlands. The natural world is already deeply connected and communicating. We've just been tuned out this whole time.
So, an absolutely crucial concept here is that to understand them, we first have to understand their Umwelt.
Umwelt is a species' unique sensory worldview. Because animals experience the physical world so differently, their language is going to reflect that. Take sperm whales, for example. They use echolocation in the pitch-black ocean. Their clicks are actually so powerful that they can see inside another whale's body, literally viewing their bones and organs. Some scientists hypothesize that when sperm whales communicate, they might not be using sequential words like we do, but rather beaming 3D sound holograms into one another. AI is what's finally helping us map these completely alien sensory experiences.
Which brings us to a deeply awe-inspiring contrast. Modern human vocal culture has existed for roughly 300,000 years. Whales, on the other hand, have had a vocal culture passed down from generation to generation for 34 million years. Let that sink in. Long before human beings ever sparked our first fire or even walked upright, whales were out there building relationships, establishing distinct dialects, and passing down ancestral knowledge in the dark oceans. Just imagine the sheer volume of history and knowledge they might possess.
Section 3. Uncomfortable Truths.
Because when we finally do cross this language barrier, humanity is going to be forced to confront some highly uncomfortable realities. To frame this logically, let's look at the Center for Humane Technology's 3 rules of technology. Step 1, when you invent a new technology, you uncover a new class of responsibilities. Step 2, if that technology confers power, it's going to start a race. And step 3, if you do not coordinate, that race will end in tragedy. Decoding animal language is an immense, world-altering power, and it triggers an immediate ethical warning.
Think about the plot twist of creating a synthetic animal voice. Who exactly gains power from this? As we talked about earlier, entire industries could be forced to change. Ecotourism operators could use synthetic calls in a race to attract animals closer to their boats just for profit. Poachers could easily use these decoded languages to lure highly endangered species directly into traps. And animal agriculture could exploit this communication to exert unprecedented control over livestock. Without strict coordination, this incredible ability to speak to animals could so easily be weaponized against them.
And the stakes are already incredibly high. 300,000. That is the minimum number of cetaceans, so whales, dolphins, and porpoises, killed annually by human activities. That's primarily as bycatch in commercial fishing nets. And that number doesn't even account for the devastating effects of underwater noise pollution from our shipping vessels. We are inflicting massive, unimaginable harm on creatures that we are now discovering possess culture, language, and profound sentience. Once we can hear them, are we going to be able to continue ignoring this?
Section 4. A new legal reality.
Decoding non-human language is inevitably going to trigger a necessary evolution in human society, specifically within the law. Currently, the fundamental legal status of animals is that they are considered property. But proving that cetaceans and other animals possess real linguistic capacities directly challenges this. In the past, discovering that great apes used tools and showed self-awareness led to massive shifts in animal welfare laws. Right now, legal scholars are arguing that proving animals have their own languages and cultures paves a very direct path to recognizing them as legal persons, which fundamentally transforms their station under the law.
If we can understand the actual content of their communication, our legal system will absolutely have to adapt. Governments and scientists would struggle to adapt to a world where billions of new voices suddenly demand to be heard. This could mean enforcing much stricter regulations against underwater noise pollution, because we'll have hard proof of the distress it causes. It could lead to establishing new fundamental rights for animals, like the basic right to be free from torture and cruel treatment. And perhaps most fascinatingly, it could lead to the recognition of non-human rights to participate in cultural life. That means protecting a whale clan's legal right to maintain its unique dialect and social structures entirely without human interference.
Section 5. First Contact.
Researchers believe we are fast approaching an era of AI-powered interspecies diplomacy. The really hopeful outcome of all this technology is that crossing the language barrier doesn't lead to exploitation, but rather to unprecedented global coordination. By understanding the needs, the cultures, and the warnings of the millions of other species we share this planet with, we might just build the empathy required to avert mass extinction and repair our relationship with the natural world. Some animals could even become global celebrities, advocating for their habitats and revealing knowledge about nature that humanity has completely overlooked up until now.
But we also have to brace ourselves for what they might actually have to say to us. During a recent interview, when discussing the possibility of a synthetic AI speaking to a wild whale, a really provocative hypothetical was posed regarding what the whale's very first question to humanity might be. And it puts it bluntly, what in the blank are you doing to the oceans?
Once animals realize we are finally actually listening, they may have some very sharp questions about our stewardship of their home.
Ultimately, the ability to communicate with animals could unite life on Earth like never before, or force humanity to confront truths it has avoided for centuries. We are on the precipice of finding out, and if these future possibilities fascinate you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Last Human Era, because every week we explore the most incredible futures humanity may face. But I want to leave you with this. If animals could speak for just one day, what question would you ask first? Let me know in the comments.